Hello and welcome. To continue from my previous presentation, I, Harshit Sinha, am your host today. I will inform you about the enactment of rules and regulations for EPR in India. The foundation of EPR in India is laid down by the Plastic Waste Management PHM Rules 2016, which were later amended in 2018, 2019 and 2022 to enhance the clarity and use of EPR. The rules require producers, importers, and brand owners to collect plastic waste in proportion to their respective market shares. The regulatory framework for EPR in India includes detailed mechanisms for monitoring compliance and ensuring that all stakeholders meet their responsibilities. It also has the provision to include penalties for non-compliance and incentives for exceeding recycling targets, which help ensure that producers take their responsibilities seriously. Thus today, EPR is a powerful tool in the arsenal of waste management strategies, especially in a country like India, where the challenge of managing vast amounts of waste is growing every day. By understanding and implementing robust EPR rules, stakeholders can ensure a sustainable future both environmentally and economically. This presentation provides an overview of the extended producer responsibility EPR rules. These rules are designed to make producers responsible for the end-of-life management of their products, thereby promoting a circular economy and reducing environmental pollution. We will delve into the specifics of the regulations, their implications for various stakeholders, and the opportunities they present for sustainable business practices. Understanding these rules is crucial for policymakers, industry players, and environmental experts alike to foster a greener and more sustainable future for India. This will make a journey of regulatory provisions made for these rules under extended producer responsibility. Since the rules and regulations are too long, we have divided this presentation into two parts. Part 1 deals introduction of EPR and related EPR rules to the plastic waste sector, while the second part deals with EPR with e-waste rule, battery waste management rules, and hazardous and other wastes, that is management and transboundary movement rules. An appeal is made to all EPR professionals to view this presentation seriously. So now let us start with Part 1, narrating the applicability of EPR to the Plastic Waste Management Rule. The Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016, introduced by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in India, marked a significant step towards addressing the growing plastic waste problem. These rules aim to minimize plastic waste generation, promote recycling, and ensure proper disposal of plastic waste. One of the key components of these rules is the concept of extended producer responsibility, EPR, which holds producers accountable for the entire life cycle of their products, including post-consumer waste management. This comprehensive guide will delve into the highlights of the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 and the role of EPR in achieving sustainable plastic waste management. The Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 were introduced to replace the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2011. The new rules aim to address the shortcomings of the previous regulations and provide a more robust framework for managing plastic waste in India. The key objectives of the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 include 1. Minimizing plastic waste generation. Encouraging the reduction of plastic waste at the source by promoting the use of alternative materials and reducing the consumption of single-use plastics. 2. Promoting recycling and reuse, ensuring that plastic waste is collected, segregated, and recycled to the maximum extent possible. 3. Ensuring proper disposal, establishing guidelines for the safe disposal of plastic waste, including the use of scientific methods for waste treatment and disposal. 4. Involving stakeholders. Engaging various stakeholders, including waste pickers, recyclers, and waste processors, in the plastic waste management process. The Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 introduced several key provisions to achieve the objectives mentioned above. Some of the notable provisions include 1. Ban on plastic bags below 50 microns. The rules prohibit the manufacture, sale, and use of plastic carry bags with a thickness of less than 50 microns. This measure aims to discourage the use of thin plastic bags, which are difficult to recycle and often end up as litter. 2. Mandatory segregation of waste at source. The rules mandate the segregation of plastic waste at the source, ensuring that recyclable and non-recyclable plastics are separated for efficient processing. 3. Extended producer responsibility (EPR). Producers, importers, and brand owners are required to collect and dispose of plastic waste generated by their products. This includes setting up collection systems, financing waste management activities, and ensuring the recycling of plastic waste. 4. Labor and involvement of waste pickers and recyclers. The rules emphasize the involvement of waste pickers, recyclers, and waste processors in the plastic waste management process. This ensures that the informal sector is integrated into the formal waste management system. 5. Promotion of biodegradable plastics. The rules encourage the use of biodegradable plastics as an alternative to conventional plastics. This includes setting standards for biodegradable plastics and promoting their use in various applications. The implementation of EPR under the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 involves several key steps. 1. Registration and compliance. Producers, importers, and brand owners are required to register with the Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, or State Pollution Control Boards, SPCBs, and comply with the EPR guidelines. 2. Setting up collection systems. Producers must establish collection systems for plastic waste generated from their products. This includes setting up collection points, collaborating with waste management agencies, and ensuring the proper disposal of collected waste. 3. Financing waste management activities. Producers are required to finance waste management activities, including the collection, transportation, and recycling of plastic waste. This ensures that the costs of waste management are covered by those who generate the waste. 4. Collaboration with authorized recyclers. Producers must collaborate with authorized recyclers and waste processors to ensure that plastic waste is recycled and disposed of in an environmentally friendly manner. 5. Submission of annual compliance reports. Producers are required to submit annual compliance reports to the CPCB or SPCBs detailing their waste management activities and the amount of plastic waste collected and recycled. Multi-layered plastic and the Plastic Waste Management (MNP) Rules 2018. The Plastic Waste Management (MNP) Rules 2018, notified on March 27, 2018, introduced key changes to address the environmental challenges posed by multi-layered plastic (MLP) in India. Multi-layered plastics, widely used in food packaging, consumer goods, and other industries, have been a major contributor to plastic pollution due to their complex composition and limited recyclability. The amendments aim to regulate the use, collection, and disposal of such plastics while promoting sustainable waste management practices. One definition and classification of multi-layered plastic, MLP. The 2018 I Amendment redefined multi-layered plastic MLP as any plastic material that consists of at least one layer of plastic and one or more layers of other materials, such as paper, metal, or aluminum foil. This clarified the categorization of multi-layer packaging materials, ensuring a more comprehensive regulatory framework. MLPs are commonly found in snack packaging, Tetra Paks, detergent pouches, and laminated plastic films, making them one of the most challenging plastic waste types to manage. 2. Ban on non-recyclable multi-layered plastic. One of the most significant provisions of the 2018 AI Amendment was the mandatory phase-out of non-recyclable, non-energy recoverable, or non-biodegradable multi-layered plastic. The regulation aimed to reduce plastic waste leakage into the environment, particularly in urban areas where improper disposal of MLPs contributes to severe pollution. Manufacturers were encouraged to shift towards recyclable or biodegradable alternatives to minimize environmental damage. 3. Extended producer responsibility (EPR) for multi-layered plastic. The amendment strengthened the extended producer responsibility (EPR) framework making producers, importers, and brand owners, PIBOs, accountable for managing multi-layered plastic waste. Companies using MLP in their packaging were required to ensure proper disposal through authorized recyclers, waste-to-energy plants, or other scientifically approved methods. C. Report compliance to the concerned state pollution control boards, SPCBs. By enforcing EPR, the government aimed to shift the responsibility from consumers and local municipalities to large corporations that generate plastic waste, promoting a circular economy where plastics are collected, reused efficiently. 4. Encouraging sustainable packaging solutions. The 2018 IMNet encouraged industries to explore alternative materials that are biodegradable, compostable, or easier to recycle. Companies were urged to invest in research and development R&D to create innovative packaging solutions that reduce dependency on multi-layer plastics. The government also promoted the use of paper-based and plant-derived bioplastics as potential substitutes for MLP. 5. Implementation and challenges. While the 2018 I Amendment laid a strong foundation for multi-layered plastic waste management, its implementation faced several challenges: lack of infrastructure for MLP recycling, non-compliance by industries, and limited consumer awareness hindered the effectiveness of the regulation. The Plastic Waste Management Second Amendment Rules 2021, notified on August 12, 2021, introduced a significant step toward tackling plastic pollution in India by banning single-use plastics, SUPs. The amendment aimed to reduce environmental damage caused by disposable plastic items that are difficult to collect and recycle. This decision aligned with India's commitment to phasing out problematic plastic products and promoting sustainable waste management practices. What is single-use plastic? They are plastic items that are designed to be used once and discarded. These include cutlery, straws, plastic sticks, plates, cups, and certain packaging materials. Since these plastics have low utility but high littering potential, they contribute significantly to land, water, and marine pollution. Due to their non-biodegradable nature, SUPs persist in the environment for hundreds of years, leading to severe ecological harm. Key highlights of the Amendment 1 ban on identified single-use plastic items: the manufacturing, import, stocking, distribution, sale, and use of identified single-use plastic items were prohibited from July 1, 2022. Items banned include plastic cutlery, straws, earbuds with plastic sticks for balloons, candy sticks, ice cream sticks, and thermocol polystyrene decoration materials. To my phased implementation for effective transition, the government adopted a phased approach to implement the ban, allowing industries and consumers time to adapt to alternatives. The first phase targeted items with low utility and high littering potential, ensuring minimal disruption while promoting sustainable replacements. 3. Strengthening extended producer responsibility, EPR. The EPR framework was revised to make plastic producers, importers, and brand owners responsible for collecting and recycling plastic waste. Companies using SUPs in their products were required to reduce plastic consumption and switch to biodegradable or recyclable material. 4. Minimum thickness requirement for plastic carry bags to discourage plastic bag usage. The minimum thickness of plastic carry bags was increased from 50 microns to 75 microns from September 30, 2021, and further to 120 microns from December 21, 2022. This measure ensured better recyclability and discouraged the use of thin plastic bags, which are often littered irresponsibly. 5. Encouraging eco-friendly alternatives. The amendment promoted paper, bamboo, cloth, and biodegradable alternatives to replace banned socks. Public awareness campaigns were launched to educate consumers about sustainable alternatives and responsible plastic use. Challenges in implementation. Despite the ban, several challenges remain in achieving complete elimination of SUPs. Enforcement issues. Many small retailers and vendors continue using banned plastics due to their low cost and easy availability. limited availability of alternatives, sustainable replacements such as paper and biodegradable plastics are often more expensive, making adoption difficult for small businesses, lack of consumer awareness. Many consumers are still unaware of the ban and continue using sub-products. The Plastic Waste Management Third Amendment Rules 2021, notified on September 17, 2021, introduced a major policy shift by allowing the use of recycled plastic in certain applications. This amendment aimed to promote circular economy practices, reduce dependency on virgin plastic, and enhance plastic waste recycling efforts. In India, by integrating recycled plastic into manufacturing, the amendment sought to address the environmental impact of plastic waste while encouraging industries to adopt sustainable alternatives. Key highlights of the Amendment 1. Permitting the use of recycled plastic. The amendment allowed the use of recycled plastic. This move encouraged industries to recycle post-consumer plastic waste and incorporate it into new packaging materials, reducing the demand for virgin plastic production. 2. Bill revised extended producer responsibility (EPR) targets. The amendment strengthened the extended producer responsibility (EPR) framework, requiring producers, importers, and brand owners (PIBOs) improve collection and processing mechanisms for post-consumer plastic waste. This regulation aimed to make industries more accountable for their plastic waste footprint. Phased implementation of recycled plastic usage. The amendment introduced a phased approach for incorporating recycled plastic in packaging materials, ensuring that industries had time to adjust manufacturing processes. The use of recycled plastic was mandated while adhering to quality and safety guidelines set by regulatory authorities. 4. Encouraging a circular economy for plastics. The move aligned with India's efforts to promote a circular economy where plastic waste is reused, recycled, and reintegrated into the production cycle instead of being discarded as waste. By permitting recycled plastic, the amendment sought to reduce landfill waste, decrease environmental pollution, and minimize resource depletion. 5. Ensuring food safety compliance. The amendment emphasized that the use of recycled plastic in food packaging must meet safety regulations set by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India (FSAI). This measure ensured that recycled plastic does not compromise public health or food quality. 6. Reduction in carbon footprint. By promoting the use of recycled materials, the amendment contributed to lower greenhouse gas (GHG) emissions, as recycling plastic consumes less energy compared to producing virgin plastic. This was a step toward achieving India's climate and sustainability goals. Challenges in implementation. Despite the benefits, the implementation of this amendment faced several challenges. Quality concerns. Ensuring that recycled plastic meets safety and durability standards remains a challenge. Lack of recycling infrastructure. Many regions in India still lack efficient plastic recycling facilities, making large-scale implementation difficult. Industry adaptation. Manufacturers need to modify production processes to incorporate recycled plastic while maintaining product quality and performance. The Plastic Waste Management Rules 2022, notified on February 16, 2022, introduced a structured and comprehensive extended producer responsibility (EPR) framework for plastic waste management in India. These guidelines were designed to hold producers, importers, and brand owners (PIBOs) accountable for the collection, recycling, and disposal of plastic waste generated by their products. The amendment aimed to promote a circular economy, reduce environmental pollution, and encourage sustainable plastic usage. Key highlights of the EPR guidelines under the 2022 Amendment 1 categorization of plastic packaging under EPR. The amendment classified plastic packaging into 4 categories for efficient waste management. Category 1, rigid plastic packaging. Category 2, flexible plastic packaging, single layer or multi-layer. Category 3, multi-layered plastic packaging containing different materials. Category 4, compostable plastic packaging 2. Mandatory EPI compliance for PIBOs producers, importers, and brand owners must take responsibility for managing the plastic waste generated by their products. This includes collection, processing, and end-of-life disposal through recycling, co-processing in cement kilns, waste-to-energy plants, or other authorized means. 3. Annual EPR targets and registration PIBOs are required to register on the centralized EPR portal developed by the Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB). Companies must submit annual reports on plastic waste collection and processing to ensure accountability. Specific EPR targets were introduced, including a phased increase in the percentage of plastic waste to be recycled and reused. 4. Use of recycled plastic content. The amendment mandated the use of recycled plastic content in packaging materials, reducing dependence on virgin plastic. Industries were required to meet minimum recycled content targets in a phased manner. 5. Trading of EPR certificates. The amendment introduced a market-based mechanism where companies exceeding their EPR targets could trade EPR certificates with those struggling to meet their obligation. This system promotes a flexible and incentive-based approach to plastic waste management. 6. Penalty for non-compliance. Companies failing to comply with EPR guidelines would face monetary fines and restrictions imposed by the CPCB. Non-compliant businesses could also be denied authorization for production or import. 7. Encouragement of sustainable alternatives. The amendment encouraged industries to explore eco-friendly packaging materials, including biodegradable plastics, paper-based alternatives, and compostable packaging. Challenges in implementation. Despite its ambitious goals, the successful implementation of EPR guidelines faces several challenges. Compliance by small businesses. While large corporations can meet EPR targets, small and medium enterprises (SMEs) struggle with financial and logistical constraints. Consumer awareness. Effective plastic waste management also depends on public participation in waste segregation and recycling. The Plastic Waste Management Rules 2022, notified on July 6, 2022, introduced further refinements to the Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) framework under India's Plastic Waste Management Rules. This amendment aimed to strengthen EPR compliance by providing detailed implementation mechanisms, importers and brand owners, and PIBOs. It was a continuation of India's commitment to tackling plastic pollution and promoting a circular economy. Key features of the EPR rules under the Amendment 1: strengthening EPR targets for plastic waste. The amendment further elaborated EPR obligations for PIBOs, requiring them to meet annual waste collection and recycling targets based on the volume of plastic introduced into the market. It established progressive targets for plastic recycling and reuse, ensuring a phased reduction in plastic waste pollution. 2. Introduction of EPR credit mechanism. The amendment refined the EPR credit system, allowing companies that exceed their recycling targets to generate EPR credits, which could be traded with other PIBOs struggling to meet their obligations. This mechanism incentivized better waste management practices among industries. 3. Mandatory registration and compliance reporting. PIBOs were required to register on the centralized EPR portal developed by the Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB). Detailed annual compliance reports had to be submitted to ensure transparency and effective monitoring. 4. Use of recycled plastic content. The amendment made it mandatory for certain industries to incorporate a minimum percentage of recycled plastic in their packaging. This was aimed at reducing the demand for virgin plastic production and encouraging plastic circularity. 5. Strict penalties for non-compliance. The rules specified penalties and environmental compensation for PIBOs failing to meet their EPR obligations. Non-compliant companies risked fines, production restrictions, and cancellation of registration with the CPCB. 6. Encouraging sustainable alternatives. The amendment promoted the development of biodegradable and compostable plastics as substitutes for conventional plastic. It also encouraged eco-friendly packaging innovations to minimize plastic dependency. Challenges in implementation. While the amendment strengthened EPR enforcement, its implementation faced certain challenges. inadequate recycling infrastructure, especially in rural areas. Small-scale businesses struggling to comply with EPR targets due to financial and operational constraints. Lack of consumer awareness about waste segregation and recycling. The Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2023, notified on April 27, 2023, introduced key administrative changes to enhance the effectiveness of EPR in India. This amendment aimed at streamlining compliance processes, improving monitoring mechanisms, and ensuring better enforcement of EPR obligations for plastic waste management. By refining the administrative framework, the amendment sought to make EPR implementation more efficient and transparent while promoting environmental sustainability. Key administrative changes introduced in the Amendment 1: enhanced monitoring through a digital EPR portal. The amendment strengthened the centralized EPR portal, directed skewer and black tax waste management. The portal allowed real-time monitoring of plastic waste collection, recycling, and disposal activities. It enabled PIBOs, producers, importers, and brand owners, to report their EPR compliance digitally, reducing paperwork and improving regulatory oversight. 2. Revised registration process for PIBOs and waste processors. The amendment introduced simplified and standardized. It ensured that all entities involved in plastic waste handling must be registered on the EPR portal to operate legally. This change aimed at eliminating unregistered and informal waste management practices, bringing more accountability to the system, clarification on EPR obligations and compliance mechanisms. The amendment provided clearer definitions and responsibilities for PIBOs, making it easier for companies to understand and fulfill their EPR obligation. It detailed how plastic waste collection, processing, and disposal must be conducted under the EPR framework. Companies were required to submit annual compliance reports on their plastic waste management activities. 4. Introduction of third-party audits for compliance verification. The amendment made it mandatory for third-party audits to verify whether PPIs and plastic waste processors are meeting their EPR targets. These audits helped in identifying non-compliance, ensuring data accuracy, and preventing fraudulent reporting. The findings from these audits were used to impose penalties or corrective actions if companies failed to meet their obligations. 5. Improvements in the EPR credit system. The amendment further refined the EPR credit trading mechanism, allowing entities to purchase. This system encouraged better compliance and financial incentives for companies actively reducing plastic waste. 6. Stronger penalties for non-compliance. The amendment reinforced strict enforcement mechanisms by specifying financial penalties and legal consequences for non-compliance with EPR guidelines. Non-compliant businesses faced fines, operational restrictions, and potential suspension of registration on the EPR portal. 7. Encouragement of circular economy practices. The amendment encouraged recycling, reuse, and the integration of recycled plastic into new products to reduce plastic waste generation. It promoted research into alternative materials such as biodegradable and compostable plastics. Challenges in implementation. Despite the improved administrative framework, certain challenges remain. Limited awareness among small businesses about the new compliance procedures, technological gaps in digital monitoring for smaller recyclers and waste processors. Resistance from informal waste collectors who are not yet integrated. The Plastic Waste Management Second Amendment Rules 2023, notified on October 30, 2023, introduced further refinements to India's Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) framework. This amendment aimed to improve the efficiency, transparency, and accountability of plastic waste management by addressing key implementation challenges faced in previous amendments. The focus was on strengthening compliance mechanisms, refining EPR targets, and integrating sustainable waste management practices. Key changes introduced in the Amendment 1 enhanced EPR compliance and monitoring mechanisms. The amendment introduced stricter compliance measures for producers, importers, and brand owners (DPIBs), requiring them to submit detailed waste management reports. Monitoring of EPR obligations was strengthened through the centralized EPR portal, allowing for real-time tracking of plastic waste collection, processing, and recycling. To prevent fraudulent reporting, the amendment mandated mandatory third-party audits to verify compliance. 2. Refinement of EPR credit system. The amendment further streamlined the EPR targets to trade credits with those falling short. This system was designed to promote financial incentives for effective plastic waste management. Additional safeguards were introduced to prevent manipulation and misuse of the EPR credit system. 3. Revised guidelines for plastic waste processing. The amendment strengthened guidelines for plastic waste collection, sorting, and processing. It promoted the use of advanced recycling technologies such as chemical recycling and energy recovery. Waste-to-energy plants and co-processing in cement kilns were recognized as acceptable methods for handling non-recyclable plastic waste. 4. Encouragement of sustainable packaging solutions. The amendment encouraged the use of biodegradable and compostable plastics as alternatives to conventional plastic packaging. PIBOs were incentivized to increase the use of recycled plastic content in new products and packaging materials. The government set phased recycled content targets, making it mandatory for industries to integrate a minimum percentage of recycled plastic in their packaging. 5. Stronger penalties for non-compliance. Companies' persistent non-compliance could result in restrictions on production, imports, and suspension of EPR registration. Environmental compensation mechanisms were introduced requiring violators to contribute to plastic waste management initiatives. 6. Integration of informal waste collectors. The amendment recognized the role of waste pickers and informal recycling networks, integrating them into formal plastic waste management system. It encouraged partnerships between local bodies, recyclers, and waste management companies to improve plastic waste collection efficiency. Challenges in implementation, lack of awareness and technical expertise among smaller PIBOs regarding compliance requirements, limited recycling infrastructure in certain regions, making it difficult to achieve EPR targets. Today, this is the end of part 1 for this presentation that covers the introduction of topic, enactment of rule and regulation for extended producer responsibility in India, followed with the description, plastic waste management rules 2016, key provisions of plastic waste management rules 2016, and implementation of EPR in plastic waste management rules 2016. The presentation continued with the plastic waste management SUPs amendment EPR registration rules March 2018, Second Amendment ban on single-use plastic product substance rules 2021, Third Amendment use of recycled plastic rule September 2021, and the Fourth Amendment EPR guidelines for plastic packaging rule 16th February 2022. Later we described about plastic waste management Second Amendment rules 2022, rules on EPR date 6 July 2022, followed by general administrative changes under plastic waste management amendment rules 2023, rules on extended producer responsibility EPR dated April 27, 2020. Now let us move to part 2 of this topic related to enactment of rule and regulation for extended producer responsibility in India, where we will describe the rules and regulations for EPR under e-waste, battery waste, used oil under hazardous waste management, and hazardous and other wastes management and transboundary movement rules. So stay tuned with this channel till next week, and for the time